Tickets for the Coldplay concert scheduled to be held in January next year were sold within minutes of being put up on sale on bookmyshow, the official online ticket selling platform. What happened next was shocking. These sold tickets resurfaced on online secondary marketplaces to be sold for exorbitant rates as high as over 3 lakh rupees. More than 10 million people competed to buy some 1,80,000 tickets on bookmyshow. This incident has brought to light the murky business of scalping and black marketing, which has left the poor fans high and dry, missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime moment of watching their favorite performers perform. This is not a one-off incident. From Coldplay to Diljit Dosanjh and even the IPL 2023 tournament saw scalpers reselling tickets at astronomical prices. Let's try to understand this case in detail. Bookmyshow has washed off its hands, claiming that it had no hand in reselling the tickets. The online secondary marketplace platform Vigogo, along with others where the Coldplay concert tickets were being resold, has denied any association with Bookmyshow. It claimed that it is simply a marketplace where individuals can come and resell tickets. However, there is a theory that scalpers and such online marketplaces might be in cahoots with official ticket sellers, which could be an outright cyber fraud. People also end up using bots or automation tools to bypass queues and purchase multiple tickets to sell on reselling platforms. Fans are questioning whether the official site had taken adequate steps to prevent this or whether it chose to look the other way. The issue of bots and the legal situation in India around scalping is murky at the best. In case both the buyer and the seller are aware of the deal, the courts have to rule that no fraud has taken place. This highlights a major loophole in Indian sellers. Unless the ticket sellers make reselling illegal through specific terms and conditions, scalping remains a legal grey area. It's a case of buyers beware. Let's start off our conversation. Advocate Dr. Muktesh Chandar on the telecast with me. Advocate Chandar, the situation that I have described in my introduction, and what are the legal cases that can be slapped on the official website, the official platform where the tickets were being sold, as well as these secondary online platforms where buyers and sellers were exchanging the tickets for these exorbitant sums of money?
Meghna, the first important thing is that let us compare this situation with the earlier days where cinema tickets were black marketed and hoarding was there if there is a very successful movie. The same thing we witnessed during the COVID times when there was a shortage of oxygen and also about the medicine. Similar thing happens in Tatkal tickets and also about visa appointments, etc. The problem is that there is a scarcity, there is a demand and supply gap, and this is being exploited by unscrupulous middlemen or people. Coming to the legal point, hoarding and black marketing of any such thing is illegal. In the new act also, the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, section 112 also, it comes under petty organized crime where unauthorized selling of ticket is an offence. But the most important thing is that it's an official duty of the seller, first of all the organizers who are organizing how people can buy their ticket. They authorize certain agents. In this case it was bookmyshow. Now the bookmyshow cannot wash their hands just because they say that all the tickets were sold off and some unscrupulous agent has bought all the tickets and it is reselling. As of now, just before the show started, I checked online and there are platforms which are selling tickets at a very exorbitant price. This is unacceptable. This is cheating with the general public, and the onus lies on the organizers also for taking ensuring measures. As you rightly said that there are bots available for hoarding the tickets, and there are a lot of measures which could have been taken. I am not sure whether they have been taken or not, limiting the ticket supply on one particular mobile number with OTP to a family, for example 4 people, and then seeing whether multiple tickets are being booked by a single number or by email, and things like that. Otherwise, this problem will continue to happen in a country like India, where there is a huge demand for large fan followers are there, fans are there, and you can't leave the public hanging in between.
Okay,
And
but the point is exactly that this is not a problem that is peculiar to India. This happens across the globe, and there have been these instances that have been highlighted several times. In fact, there have been laws that have been built around these follies to ensure that these situations are regulated. I'm going to also get in Anilesh Tarale. He is a Coldplay fan. He had tried to get tickets on bookmyshow. Unfortunately, was not able to buy the tickets because the price had risen from about 35,000 to a lakh, and then of course, over 3 lakh rupees, which is crazy. Animesh, would you like to describe your experience?
Yeah, actually, we planned all the things like 2 days before, like it happened. Like portals were going to open at 12, so we planned 3 to 4 people. Like each of us will like add 3 devices from like his account, and we were sitting in a room, so it was very like rushing experience. So we tried for first 20 minutes ki like we should be able to get into the bookmyshow application at least, but the server was down. Since I'm an actually software engineer, so I know ki how it could have been ki like the bookmyshow company should have increased their threshold for that much of customer count. So they didn't
Okay.
it was not happening at that time. So like after 20 minutes of opening the portal, so we were able to open the application at least, and we were in the queue. So just after like 12.19 minutes, so we were able to enter the portal. And after that, the queue position that we were given, it was 19 lakh something. So what happened in that area? Ki, like most of the people got the ticket, and we were like out of.
Okay.
Like there was no
That's
ticket
the
for us.
question. It's that these bots have been utilized to hoard the tickets. Now,
Yeah,
the
actually,
question.
it's not bot. You can say if a developer give a specific authorization, so they can block IP, or they can also give an authorization. We have authorization keys, so they can also provide this authorization keys to a specific automation tools, and they can book directly from
Right,
the
absolutely.
final
So
page.
that's what I said. These automated tools, these
Yes,
bots
yes,
at this
yes.
point of time, whether there's a collusion between the official partner, which in this case is bookmyshow, and these secondary platforms where tickets are being sold at these hefty prices, is something that is being speculated. The Economic Offences Wing in Mumbai has also taken up this probe. Questions are being asked of the bookmyshow CEO. At this point of time, they have claimed innocence in this entire matter. Shekhar Vijayan, let's hear it from you about the situation from the fans' point of view, the consumer point of view. The laws, as I mentioned, and as the advocate Chandar, who's sitting with me, also spoke about, are at this point a grey. There is not much to support the consumer in case of a situation such as this arises. Again, the one example raised by Advocate Chandar, during COVID times, and I remember these oxygen cylinders being hoarded, and there was a restaurateur who had been brought to book. He was the one who was actually doing this side business, and action was taken. Now, can something similar happen? I'll ask my advocates, but Shekhar, let's understand from you, how does a buyer find himself in such a situation, can find any sort of recourse?
Thank you for having me over. So first things first, Animesh, I hear you. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson when it come down to India, and that the entire situation of how it was handled was very shabby. And I think the problem in India is when mainstream musicians come down, somehow the checks and balances are not in place, and somehow we don't tend to learn from our mistakes. It's also a reflection of how we think as a society. When I'm saying that, I think the law and order has to be very strict. The organizers have to be taken to task. And this has happened not just with music. I think Dr. Muktesh mentioned, it's happened during COVID times. Whenever there's a scarcity of something, the demand goes up, and we are willing to pay any price for it in terms of cylinders, in terms of oxygen. And I think the solution here has to be, proper checks and balances. Proper checks and balances make sure that everything is in place to ensure that everybody has a good experience. Now, it goes without saying that in a place like India, which is such a huge population, you will always have a demand for certain things like this, be it music, be it films, be it, medicines. And I think that's why it's very critical and important that law and order, proper checks and balances, also ensuring that there is a right market for it, there's a right demand for it, and people who are behind this should also create a good system for it. When they knew that the Coldplay concert was going to happen in Mumbai in the next few months, and they knew that there is such a huge, fan base for it, especially in India, because India's got a huge young population. Why were steps not taken by the organizers? Why did they not think of this beforehand? Why were they not proactive enough? I think that's something we need to think about why can't the organizers be proactive, and about the people selling in the black market, the so-called scammers. Ultimately at the end of the day, they're not the real fans. The real fans are the ones who are willing to buy the tickets. The scammers are the ones who are trying to make money out of this. At the end of the day, the experience goes down. The mainstream musicians will not want to perform in India, and that is a reflection for us as a society as to what's gone wrong here. Because there is no recourse, there is no reason why they cannot perform in India. I think India is the biggest playground for musicians like this. There's so many things happening in India. India is right there as you talk. It's the epicenter of all the action. Somehow you believe that all this what is happening, and thanks to NewsX for reporting this, these things should never happen. There should be a stop to things like this, a stop to corruption like this. This is also corruption in a certain way, because you're just making sure that there is a scarcity for certain things, and you're creating an existential demand for it. And ultimately what really happens here is people are paying exorbitant prices. People are also committing suicide. There were also cases where I've seen that people have killed themselves because they didn't get the tickets. It creates peer pressure. It creates a lot of other issues. We're talking about an issue which can take over the whole society. So I think it's really critical and important that there is law and order, there is critical checks and balances, and these organizers are really taken to task. They cannot just get away like this.
Okay. Advocate Khushbu Jain, let's hear it from you as well. Now, gone are the days when there would be black marketeers and hoarders who would be standing outside the cinema halls or the concerts, the locations where these concerts and other events would be held, and of course there were touts, and there would be policemen who would be surveilling the area, and they would be thrown out of these places while they were caught black marketing. With the technology being so advanced, and you are booking everything online and selling and reselling tickets, and there is this automated tools that are being used to hoard the tickets, are our cyber laws strong enough to regulate the market?
See, we do have laws in place, but if you talk about specifically when you talk about selling a ticket in a black market, see, Contract Act practically talks about that there should be a contract, there should be a valid, 3 ingredients where I put an offer, you are interested in my offer, and there is a price that you're willing to pay, and I'm telling you the price. That makes a contract valid in India. So that's one. But number two, when you're talking about technology, and we're living in the era of technology, and it's utilized by cyber criminals, so we will have to see this in a 3 manner. If I put those 3 layers, one is whether the companies who are selling the tickets can make use of technology. I'll go step by step on how they can make a use of technology so that we don't succumb to these situations. Number 2, there would be people who would be selling tickets by, I'm repeating this word, and this is something very important for all of us to watch, because tomorrow you'll do another show where we will see that how scamsters have duped people by selling tickets which are actually not available. So there would be an aspect where there will be a lookalike websites where these scammers will create a fake website with mimicking the absolute same tickets, and they'll be selling it. There can be an aspect where there will be bogus tickets. When I say bogus tickets, that's nothing that ticket will appear to be very legitimate. Real images, everything will be absolutely perfect, but when you go, it's practically a bogus ticket when you reach there. The third that will come is duplicate tickets. Like, for example, I have got a hold of a ticket. Now I'm ready to sell Animesh and Shekharji here the same ticket. I'll sell it to both of them. But when they appear, it would be one person who reaches the place first is the one who will be, will get the entry. The second one will not be given the entry. So there would be a lot of aspects where these scamsters would also be available on internet and selling, because as rightly said by all of you, including you, that there is a demand and scarcity, and when there is a demand, this kind of things happen. So there has to be an aspect where we utilize technology over here. Now, where all of us have to keep ourselves aware of how to verify ticket seller, whether it is legitimate, not legitimate. But at the initial stage, where a ticket is being sold, when you're coming to a country like this, or for that matter, anywhere in the world, there can be a lot of usage of technology that can be done. Like for example, there can be an aspect where you can have a dynamic pricing model. You can have a nominative ticket. When I say nominative, like for example, if you're selling a ticket, the ticket is sold to Khushbu Jain, to Mr. Shekhar, to Mr. Muktesh or Animesh. Now I can't resell this ticket, or if there is an aspect of reselling, if I let's say for some mishap or some paucity of time, I can't go and I have paid, let's say 8,000 rupees for the ticket, I can go back to book my show and I can resell my ticket at the platform, and that would be open for public to buy again at the same price rather than paying an exorbitant price. That's how you can understand and you can make sure that this black marketers, the people who are holding the tickets and are the one who can do it. So absolutely non-transferable when it comes to tickets. So initially when I buy, I should put my name as Khushbu Jain. I can put my, either there can be an aspect where I put my details. If not, at least it can be name specific.
Okay.
So that's another thing which can be taken care of. Then the aspect where the secondary markets can also be looked upon, as you rightly started, you gave your example that gone are the days where, those people would be standing outside and selling you tickets in the black, but we have to now make sure that we as in the ticket seller himself, look around as a duty that is there anybody selling it, why is it selling it, how can somebody, because it's not just lost to or trust to you and me, but also to the reseller that he's buying in 8,000 rupees, he's selling in 8,000 rupees, and practically that ticket has been sold in 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees. So such a huge loss to them, plus a huge loss to exchequer. This is a black market. I don't think so there would be an aspect of taxation or other things that would be involved over here. So I think whole industry, everybody has to come together in this, and we have to make use of technology as these scamsters are making use of it, and make sure that people like you and me who are wanting to go do not succumb to these cyber criminals in the same time.
Advocate Muktesh Chandar, talking about the kind of experiences that consumers have had, there were cases that were registered, particularly when it came to the cases of these medical supplies being hoarded, and there was a strong case that could be put forward. Here in the case where this is the entertainment business, there is no risk to life. Your life is not threatened, but there are other costs that a fan has to pay. Can there similar laws be applied?
You're right, Meghna. The law remains the same whether it is applied in a life-threatening situation or in a ticket kind of situation, entertainment business. The laws are the same, and I was a nodal officer for oxygen supply in Delhi during COVID times, and I know we were proactive in taking actions. So anybody who pretends to be supplying oxygen concentrator or medicine, we had a hotline and we resolved this issue. Here also the police is investigating the matter, EOW, and I'm sure a lot of things will be unearthed by the time there's a lot of time still available for the show. The law is not an issue at all here. There are a lot of sections, as I told you, the 112 of BNS is applicable. There may be any other sections also which can be applied. As rightly said by Khushbu, that tickets may be possible, fake websites may be possible. If a platform is not authorized to sell the tickets, that platform can be taken down under IT Act by a proper court order. So remedies are available. It is for the organizers actually to take a call immediately. And I would say that Coldplay, the band group, as well as the bookmyshow have to take this initiative. They can't wash their hands and say that we can't do anything and this is happening and this is no. They are the part of it. They have the responsibility that the common consumer does not get cheated or is pleased because he is interested in a particular show. Then of course it is a problem related to excise laws also, entertainment tax, GST also, whether the adequate amount of GST is being collected, whether the entertainment tax is being collected. This is simple, pure black marketing of tickets in the old style when it happened with the cinema tickets and police used to take action. In this case, it is a digital version, and the same I expect that police will take definite action in the interest of the society.
Okay, I'm going to again come back to Shekhar, and let's try to understand. Can you even at this point of time fathom and perhaps is it believable that Book My Show was just not aware that within few minutes of actually opening up its site for buyers to buy the tickets, that there will be all the tickets will be sold out within just about, as Animesh said, that it took about 12 minutes for the tickets to be completely sold out. And do you think it then becomes the responsibility of Book My Show to ensure that there are checks and balances in place to ensure that this does not happen?
Absolutely, Megha. I'm sure bookmyshow knew about this. The fact that they're getting such a such a popular band to India, which has got such a huge fan base, not just in India but across the world. Everybody has heard Coldplay songs. The fact that they knew about it, they bring this band to India, and we're talking about India. You're talking about Mumbai, Bangalore, and all these major cities where people are crazy about songs like this. I'm sure they're aware of it. The fact that they didn't have checks and balances in place, I think something is very fishy. Something is very amiss. It doesn't seem very normal. You could be making money out of it, and we have seen this not just in music, but this has happened in the past. Whenever something which is of great demand, I think it's a basic law of economics. When there is a demand for something like this, usually you have things which go wrong here. Corruption takes over completely, and ultimately the real fans, people like Animesh, are the ones who cannot do much about it, because ultimately what's really going to happen is everything comes at the cost of money. And people are losing lives, and I think it's getting very serious now. People are losing lives. People are committing suicide.
Okay.
There's so many things coming out of it.
And
I think
Meghna,
important is just checks and balances, which I mentioned.
One important issue I want to highlight.
Yeah.
The database is available with Book My Show. Who all have booked their ticket? What are their mobile numbers? What are their email addresses? Lot of information has been captured. This can be analyzed to reveal the pattern. And that is what the companies are expected to do. And this can be shared even with the police, also with the economic offense wing, which is investigating. And then you will know which IP addresses were used, how many devices were used. And this data will show whether they were part of the conspiracy or whether they were negligent, and who are the people who are getting benefited out of this artificial scarcity which is being created. Right. So this is an important aspect from the
I think that's something which the economic offences wing will also look into. Cyber frauds, cyber crimes that have become rampant is something that our judiciary also needs to take note of. There need to be rules and regulations and laws that need to be looked into, revived. Fresh ones need to be made as well to ensure that regulation of the online market is done at a timely basis for such frauds to not happen time and again. Animesh, coming back to you, this time you'll be missing out on the concert, and so are your friends. Until and unless there is a rollback that happens with the judiciary taking things into their hands and the law and order agencies working it out. What message would you like to give, particularly to the agencies the next time around?
Actually,
your
the
favorite
message
bands comes down to India to perform.
Yeah, so the message that I wanted to give to agency and like everybody from the Book My Show team, so they should have a specific platform like where a person should not be able to transfer any ticket to anyone. This should be the first thing that they should be implying. And other than that, every person should be able to book at least 2 or 3 tickets from a single phone number. And like the Khushbu ma'am explained, like if a person wanted to cancel a ticket, he should be able to resell the same ticket on only that platform instead of the other platform. Since if you check online,
that's the problem over here, Advocate Muktesh Chandra. There are these platforms, secondary platforms, where you can go and sell the tickets, and there is nothing wrong. They're not doing anything legally wrong, because there you have it. You have a reseller who wants to sell off his tickets. There's a buyer, and there is an exchange that happens.
In the terms and condition of the ticket, one can always mention that this ticket is non-transferable. It is given to you. As it happens, railway ticket you cannot transfer to anybody else.
Absolutely.
You have to cancel it on the same platform. And then you have an access control using QR code. The QR code is displayed just half an hour before on your particular registered mobile number, and you show it on the screen, and the gate opens. So the technology is available today, and it is being used. At airport, you show the boarding card, the QR code, and the gate opens.
Yeah.
So in realizing that such a situation will happen, the organizers and the bookmyshow, they should have got together and found out technological solutions which are easily available.
Yeah.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.